Hello everyone, my name is Sam Rocha. I will be the instructor for this course in Winter Term 2, Edst 597, Educational Theories, Equality, Democracy, and Justice. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Educational Studies, and this will be my 7th consecutive year of teaching this course. It'll also be unlike any other time I've taught it because it'll be completely online. So you can find quite a few, all 6 of the previous syllabi, and you'll notice that they're quite long, whereas the syllabus that I sent you for this course is very short, and it really just covers the bare facts. The reason is because it's online and because of the reasons that it's made online because of COVID, this global pandemic, I've chosen to split it up between the written text and then this short video giving you a more detailed overview of the components, and also a chance for you to hear me and see me and somewhat get to know me in this medium. So I just want to go through the 3 components of the course. It'll be a weekly course, so every week there will be 3 components with kind of one dangling component at the very end, hanging over into the last week. We might actually say 2, but anyhow, the first component, probably to mention, are going to be the synchronous meetings, which will happen on Zoom. These will take place over an hour and a half every Wednesday, Vancouver time, Pacific Standard Time, 4:30 p.m. to 6 o'clock. This is an hour and a half less than a normal meeting, and an hour of that hour and a half excess will be made up with an asynchronous radio podcast style lecture. And then that final half hour is a half hour that I'm electing to allow to evaporate into just the navigation of all these different sites and all this different work and to do our readings and all that kind of stuff. So the synchronous meetings on Zoom, I'll divide them into thirds, half-hour thirds. We'll take a kind of screen time quick break every half hour or so. Most of the weeks we will have a guest. Most of the guests will be philosophers. They'll all be friends of mine, and we'll be there to talk about the readings. And after some kind of more or less formal introductions and warming up conversation between us, I would really invite you to jump in and to ask questions. We'll be joined in some weeks by some other classes and some other students from other places as well, and everyone is more than welcome to participate, either writing into the chat in Zoom or speaking aloud, and we'll just do as much as we can do in the time that we have, and hopefully those will be good, lively sessions. After each session, on Wednesday, on Thursday, I will record and upload a lecture, the second component, an asynchronous lecture into SoundCloud. Every lecture will be downloadable, so that way you don't have to use your data to listen to it if you're going on a walk or something like that. And if I forget to make it downloadable, just let me know and I'll do it. These will be very much like a podcast style or radio style form of media. There'll be a bumper at the beginning and at the end. And in between, I will continue working from the theme of the readings and the session that we had the day before, also both retrospectively and a bit prospectively, looking perhaps at the week to come. The only component left then is what I call Flashpoint Writing assignment. I'm going to go back actually. There's one more kind of guest that's going to be coming in the final weeks of the course. They're also philosophers, and they're also scholars, and they're also friends of mine. They also happen to be some of my students. And the early iterations of this class, I used to have a student conference at the end of the class where students would present their work and also critique each other's work. I wanted to kind of resurrect that feature by using some of the master's theses that have been written within SCIPI, within EDST, Society, Culture, and Politics and Education, Educational Studies, master students that I've supervised and that I think are of really high quality and that would help us address some of the gaps perhaps in some of our readings and address some of the authors who we otherwise wouldn't have had an opportunity to read. So I'm kind of using this to serve as a kind of stopgap, also resurrect a kind of old form of the conference, and also allow the voices to shift in the course from primarily colleagues, scholars in the field, to also colleagues, students. Some of them now doing other things, and some of them, in fact, continuing on their studies in other places and spaces. So that's a bit more about our synchronous meetings. The Flashpoint Writings. This is an assignment I've been working on a little bit. It'll be hosted at a WordPress blog site. Every Wednesday we'll meet. On Thursdays I'll post a lecture. And on Fridays I will post a Flashpoint writing prompt. And you will have between then and when we meet to fill it out. It's meant to be fast. It's not meant to, it's meant to be a flash, right? So I'll write a kind of Flashpoint prompt, and you'll respond to it in around, 200 to 300 words, not very long. Over time, these will accumulate, and these will kind of seep into our synchronous meetings, and also definitely I think they'll seep into the commentary and the asynchronous lectures. You can find the archive from the Flashpoint Writings from the last course I taught this summer, EDST 595, if you want to kind of get a sense of kind of a sample. I can't guarantee this will be a one-for-one replica of that, but you'll definitely have a sense there for what what that exercise looks like and feels like. All the texts that you'll need will be hyperlinked into the syllabus. I would recommend, though, in case of the full-length books, that you consider maybe getting an ebook version. These are mostly PDFs, but also maybe perhaps ordering some of the books to read in print if you prefer to read in hard copy. I'll probably be getting permission to go to my UBC office to find some of those books and make sure that I have them at hand, as I should as well. And but you don't need to. If you really are limited in terms of resources or something like that, you can get all the readings for free online, and all those links have been provided. And so, in this kind of ritual of Wednesday we meet, Thursday is this lecture that's always going to be done in live time. I'm not going to pre-record them. They'll always be done kind of in the moment. And then Fridays, to at least begin maybe thinking or to save for the weekend or whatever you want to do, or the following week, Monday or Tuesday. This sequence will carry through all the way through the term across our 13 weeks. The final week, going into what would be called finals weeks, you'll have your student evaluation of instruction to fill out, and one final Flashpoint writing, which will be kind of like the bookend to the course. And so that's going to be the class. Those are all the components of the class. I hope that if you have any questions or any concerns, that you'll let me know. In terms of the synchronous time together, I realize people have different bandwidth options in terms of their internet, different living spaces. As much as you can, just like making plans to come into campus for a class, if you could make plans for that time to really be time for us to be present together, undistracted. I would prefer to have your cameras on if you can, if you're able to. At the same time, I understand that people have different circumstances and different technological barriers or abilities. If you need to miss a synchronous a synchronous meeting, just let me know, and you can make up that assignment with just a reflection paper on the reading for the day and the asynchronous lecture that corresponds to that day, and we can make up for a class that way. The course breakdowns are in the syllabus. To be honest, the rubric is going to be very much kind of pass or fail. If you do the assignment, you'll get credit for having done it. I'm able to monitor the SoundCloud files in terms of if they're being listened to. If I don't have any reason to suspect, I'm not going to ask for evidence of that. If I have any concerns or worries, I'll reach out to you with time and express whatever those are, and you can certainly let me know what we can do to make them work. But really, this is going to be largely if you do it, you'll get full credit, and if you don't, then that'll be a debit, so to speak, on the final mark. And there will be some qualitative sense of how things are going, perhaps during the synchronous meetings, but nonetheless, the spirit of the course will hopefully be to kind of ritualize itself across these 3 instantiations of each week over the 13-week term with the little break in between. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me via email and let me know. There's still some space in the class. It was restricted to Skippy students. Now it's going to be opened. So if you know of others who are looking for a course, we have some space. This is normally a full course right now, so I'm happy to let people in. And like I said, we'll definitely have guests and might even have some sit-ins who join us as well. And I say during times like these when we're so separated, all are welcome, and the more the merrier. Anyhow, thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all a wonderful December and a wonderful holiday season.